That cup of coffee you're drinking right now, the one slowly cooling while you scroll through your phone, it's connected to the most terrifying truth in physics. I'm not being dramatic. The reason your coffee never spontaneously gets hot again is the same reason the universe is dying. Right now, as you sit there, the cosmos is bleeding out. Every second, it becomes less capable of doing anything meaningful, less capable of forming stars, less capable of supporting life. It's called heat death, and it's not a theory, it's happening. The same physics that cools your coffee is slowly murdering the universe. But here's where it gets dark. You need this to happen. Your consciousness, your memories, the fact that you experience time flowing forward instead of backward, it all depends on the universe dying. Without entropy increasing, you wouldn't just cease to exist. You would never have existed in the first place. The arrow of time, the possibility of memory, the difference between cause and effect, they're all side effects of cosmic death. Stay with me, because understanding this properly will fundamentally change how you see every moment of your life. Now I know what you're thinking. You learned about entropy in school. Entropy equals disorder. Things fall apart. Rooms get messy. That's the second law of thermodynamics. Disorder always increases. And you know what? You're not wrong to think that. It's what every textbook says. It's common sense. Stop right there. I have to stop you. Because common sense is just a collection of prejudices we acquired by age 18. And entropy, the real entropy, not the cartoon version, has almost nothing to do with disorder. We'll get to what it actually is. But first, I need to show you why everything you think you know is wrong. This bothers me. It really does. Because for years, I thought I understood it. I thought entropy was decay, rust, aging, the enemy. I spent years trying to fight it, organizing things, preserving things, maintaining things. And the whole time, I had it completely backwards. Here's what I'm going to prove to you in this video. First, entropy is not disorder. That's a metaphor that became a mistake. Second, every act of creating order actually increases the entropy of the universe. You're not fighting decay, you're accelerating it. And third, and this is the one that will stick in your brain long after you close this video, the universe dying is the only reason you're conscious right now. The only reason time flows forward. The only reason you can remember breakfast this morning but can't remember dinner tomorrow. We're going to peel back the layers of the onion together. And by the end, you'll understand something that took me years to grasp. Death and meaning are not opposites. They're the same phenomenon, viewed from different angles. Where are you watching from? Drop your location in the comments. And if you've ever tried to fight entropy by organizing your life, hit subscribe, because this is about to get much stranger. Let's start with what entropy isn't. Because before we can understand the real thing, we need to kill the myths one by one. The most common explanation goes like this. Entropy measures disorder. An organized room has low entropy. A messy room has high entropy. Simple, intuitive, and completely wrong. Consider ice. Water molecules locked into a perfect crystalline lattice. Hexagonal symmetry repeating over and over. It looks ordered. It is ordered. More ordered than liquid water, where molecules tumble and slide past each other in chaos. So ice should have lower entropy than water, right? That's what the disorder theory predicts. And yes, when ice melts, entropy increases. The more ordered state has lower entropy. Score 1 for the theory. But hold that thought, because this is where it all falls apart. What about a shuffled deck of cards? You take a fresh deck, ace through king, hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades, all sorted. You shuffle it 100 times. Now it's completely random. Maximum disorder. Maximum entropy, right? Except, is a shuffled deck really more disordered? Think about this carefully. Every arrangement of 52 cards is equally specific. The sorted deck is one specific arrangement. The shuffled deck is one specific arrangement. Why does physics care more about one than the other? This is where the disorder explanation breaks. It can't answer that question. It just says messy equals high entropy and hopes you don't think too hard. Nature doesn't care about your intuition. Okay, so maybe entropy isn't about disorder. Maybe it's about decay. Things break down. Metal rusts. Fruit rots. Bodies age. That feels like entropy. But actually, wait, let me challenge that too. Consider a sealed jar of gas. Put it in a room and leave it for 1,000 years. The jiggling atoms will bounce around, collide, spread out evenly. Eventually, The jar reaches maximum entropy equilibrium. Nothing is changing anymore. Is anything decaying? No. Nothing is rotting. Nothing is breaking. The gas is just evenly distributed. Maximum entropy achieved without a single thing decaying. So entropy isn't decay either. We're eliminating options, and the mystery is only getting deeper. Maybe entropy is energy dissipating, heat spreading out? That feels closer. When your coffee cools, heat flows from the hot coffee into the cooler air. Energy disperses. That seems like entropy. But wait, why does heat always flow from hot to cold? Why doesn't the air spontaneously give heat back to the coffee? Something is forcing this direction. Something deeper is going on. We'll get to that in a moment. But first, I need to tell you what entropy actually is. Here's what physics teachers rarely tell you. Entropy has nothing to do with disorder, decay, or even energy directly. Entropy is about something far stranger. It's about counting. In 1877, a physicist named Ludwig Boltzmann had an insight so radical that the scientific establishment rejected him for it. He was mocked, dismissed. He died before the world understood what he'd discovered. But his equation is now carved on his tombstone. S equals K log W. Entropy equals the number of ways a system can be arranged. Let me show you what Boltzmann saw. Imagine you have a deck of 52 playing cards. There's exactly one way to arrange them in perfect order, ace through king, sorted by suit. But how many ways can you arrange them randomly? The answer is 52 factorial, roughly 8 times 10 to the 67th power different arrangements. That's more arrangements than there are atoms in the visible universe. Now here's the insight that changes everything. Every single one of those arrangements is equally likely. The sorted deck has the exact same probability as any particular shuffled deck. But, and this is crucial, there's only one sorted arrangement and 8 times 10 to the 67th unsorted ones. If you shuffle a deck, you're almost certainly going to end up with one of those countless random arrangements. Not because physics prefers chaos, not because the universe hates order, simply because there are astronomically more ways to be shuffled than sorted. That's entropy. It's not a force. It's not a preference. It's just probability made visible. The universe doesn't tend toward disorder. It tends toward probability. This is the key that unlocks everything else. Remember the shuffled deck. This idea will return later in a form you won't expect. Let me make this physical. Picture a single drop of ink falling into a glass of still water. At the moment of contact, all the ink molecules are concentrated in one tiny spot. That's a very specific arrangement. All the ink here, all the water there. It's like a sorted deck of cards. Now watch what happens. The ink spreads, slowly at first, then faster. Tendrils reaching outward into the clear water, the blue diffusing through the transparent. Within minutes, the entire glass is a uniform pale blue. Did the ink become disordered? No, it explored. Those ink molecules are still there, every single one. They're not broken. They're not decayed. They've just moved from a low probability arrangement, all concentrated in one spot, to a high probability arrangement, spread everywhere. Think about why this never reverses. The pale blue glass never spontaneously gathers its ink back into a single drop. Not because physics forbids it. The laws of physics are perfectly time reversible. Every collision that spread the ink could, in principle, run backwards. But it never happens. Why? Because there are trillions upon trillions more ways for ink to be spread out than concentrated. You would have to wait longer than the age of the universe to see it happen by chance. Have you ever watched something spread out and wondered why it never comes back together? Tell us in the comments. What everyday thing made you notice this before you could name it? Here's where we level up the analogy. Remember, I said we're peeling back the layers of the onion? This is the next layer. Imagine a mountain. A young mountain, sharp peaks, jagged cliffs, dramatic ridges. All that rock concentrated in one specific shape. Now wait a billion years. Rain falls, wind blows, rivers carve their paths down the slopes. What happens? The mountain becomes beaches, sandbars, river deltas. Not because the rock decayed, not because entropy attacked it, but because the information that was concentrated in that mountain shape, the specific arrangement of trillions of atoms, has spread out. It's in the sand grains scattered across distant coasts. It's in the sediment at the bottom of rivers hundreds of miles away. It's in the dust spread across continents. The mountain didn't disappear. Its information diluted. Entropy is information dilution. That's what it really is. The universe isn't becoming more disordered. It's becoming more spread out, more probable, more explored, like ink and water, like mountains becoming beaches, like heat leaving your coffee and spreading into the room. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked by erosion. Let me bring this back to something closer to home. Because here's where this connects to something you do every single second without realizing it. Your memories. When you remember something, really remember it. What's happening in your brain? Neurons are firing. Connections are strengthening. A pattern is being etched into neural tissue. That pattern is information. Concentrated information. Order created inside your skull. But here's what I need you to understand. Creating that order has a cost. Your brain is burning glucose, generating heat. That heat radiates out of your head into the room. The room gets imperceptibly warmer. The jiggling atoms of air move a tiny bit faster. You just traded environmental disorder for mental order. The universe's entropy increased so that your personal entropy could decrease. Every memory you form costs the cosmos a tiny piece of its ability to do anything else. This will matter enormously later. Hold that thought tight. Now remember the ink spreading through water? Remember how it never reverses? This is where that simple image connects to the deepest mystery of existence. Why does time have a direction at all? Think about it. The laws of physics, the fundamental equations that govern jiggling atoms, orbiting planets, colliding particles, are almost perfectly time-symmetric. Run them forward or backward, they work the same way. A planet orbiting a star looks identical whether you play the video forward or in reverse. Zoom in on two particles bouncing off each other, and you cannot tell which direction time is flowing. So why does time feel like a one-way street? Why do eggs break, but never unbreak? Why do we remember yesterday, but not tomorrow? The answer is entropy. And this is the kick, the real payoff of everything we've been building toward. At the Big Bang, the universe started in an extraordinarily low entropy state. Imagine all the ink in the cosmos concentrated in one single drop. That's what the early universe was like. Not physically small in the way you might picture, but informationally concentrated. Highly specific, highly improbable. Everything since then has been the ink spreading. Every star that burns, every planet that forms, every thought you think. It's all the universe moving from less probable to more probable, from concentrated to diluted. The arrow of time isn't built into the laws of physics. It emerges from entropy increasing. Time is entropy's shadow. This is why you can remember the past, but not the future. Remember what I said about memories costing entropy? Here's where that becomes critical. When you form a memory, your brain creates a specific arrangement of neural connections, a low entropy imprint of what happened. That imprint only makes sense because the past was lower entropy than the present. You can't remember the future because the future hasn't happened yet, and happening means entropy increasing. Memory is a footprint, and footprints only point backward. Your memory is a one-way street because the universe is a one-way street. And the universe is a one-way street because of probability. Pure, simple, terrifying probability. And here's where it gets personal. Your consciousness, the feeling of being you, right now, watching these words, exists only because the universe is dying. Without entropy increase, nothing would ever change. Without change, there's no time. Without time, there's no experience, no thought, no memory, no you. Actually, wait, let me say that again because it's that important. Think of the universe as a wound clock. At the Big Bang, it was tightly coiled with potential energy and concentrated information. Every star that forms, every sunset you witness, every human life that unfolds, it's all the unwinding. The universe bleeding its order into the void. And we exist in that bleeding. We are made of that bleeding. Let's find things out together now. Let's close the loops we opened at the beginning. The coffee cooling in your mug is not separate from you aging. Your aging is not separate from stars burning out. Stars burning out is not separate from the heat death of the cosmos. It's all the same process, the same spreading, the same dilution, the same ink in the same water, reaching for the same inevitable equilibrium. Remember the shuffled deck of cards? The universe had all its information concentrated at the beginning, a perfectly sorted deck, and it's been shuffling ever since. We call this shuffling time. We call the effects of this shuffling entropy, and we call the experience of being caught in the middle of this shuffling consciousness. You are not fighting entropy. You never were. You are entropy. You are the universe experiencing its own dilution from the inside. Every thought you have is the cosmos watching itself spread out. Every memory you form is the universe recording its own death. This isn't tragedy. Or maybe it is, but it's also the only reason there's anyone here to feel tragic about it. So where does this leave us? Standing in the kitchen, watching our coffee cool, knowing we're witnessing the universe die in miniature. That sounds bleak, but I don't experience it that way anymore. Because understanding entropy properly inverted something in me. It flipped my fear into something else. Every moment you experience, every memory you form, every choice you make, every flash of consciousness exists because the universe is spending itself. It's trading its concentrated order for your experience. The cosmos pays for your thoughts with its own irreversible death. That's not tragedy. That's value. That's meaning written into the physics of existence. Nature is absurd and wonderful. And this might be the most absurd, wonderful truth of all. The thing that kills us is the same thing that makes us real. When I watch someone I love age now, I don't see entropy as the enemy anymore. I see it as the price of the ticket. The reason we get to be here at all. You can't have experience without time. You can't have time without entropy. You can't have entropy without the universe slowly, beautifully, irreversibly unwinding. Tomorrow morning, I want you to do something specific. Pour yourself a cup of coffee, or tea, or just hot water. It doesn't matter. Then add a drop of milk, just one drop, and watch it spread. Watch the white tendrils reach outward into the dark liquid. Watch the improbable become probable. Watch the concentrated become dilute. You're not watching chaos. You're not watching disorder. You're watching the same process that gave you memory, the same process that created time, the same process that made consciousness possible. You're watching the universe die so that you can exist to see it. Hold the cup. Feel the warmth leaving through your fingers into the air. Know that you are made of that exact leaving. Know that your thoughts right now are purchased with cosmic currency that can never be refunded. If this shifted the way you see your morning, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more, and tell us in the comments. Tomorrow morning, when you watch that milk spread, what will you think about now that you didn't think about before? Thanks for staying until the end.